Hi, thank you for coming in. Can I please have your names and what grade you're in?
My name is Khawaja Ahmed and I'm in grade 11.
My name is Abdul Rafi Nasser and I'm in 10th grade.
Well, thank you for coming in for this interview. I'm going to start with the questions. What is the difference between Islam, Muslims, and Arabs?
So Islam is the religion which Muslims follow, so the Muslims are the followers, and Arabs are like the people that Islam was first brought onto.
There are individuals who live in a specific region who follow and adhere to Islam.
Okay. What are the major beliefs of being Muslim?
Well, the major beliefs of Islam revolve around the 5 pillars, which are the Shahada, which is a sworn oath that we take, the Salah, praying 5 times daily, Som, which is fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, Zakah, forgiving ailments or charity to the poor, and Hajj. Once for those who are healthy and able, they would make a one-time pilgrimage to Mecca. And this revolves around the belief of what I said before, the Shahada, first belief, where our only God, only one and only God is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's the only prophet,
What is
Muhammad.
Quran?
The Quran is a scripture that was revealed onto Muhammad, and it contains life lessons and all that, and stories about the prophets.
So yeah, basically they're the principles that we follow in Islam. So basically our life is a test and the Quran is our answer sheet.
Okay. So what do you learn from it, I'd say? Do you go to school for it? You know how certain religions have schooling for their religion?
Okay.
Do you guys go to school for the Quran?
So an interesting thing about that is he actually knows the whole Quran by heart. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Well, before I joined Wheeling High School, I was in Cooper until 6th grade, and I went to a mosque in Des Plaines to memorize the Quran. It took me around 3 years, and more about it was about learning Arabic, and almost all Muslims learn Arabic at a young age. They learn to speak it, and when that's although it's not one of the pillars, one requirements kind of to finish the Quran at some point in your life. And when I memorized it, I was learning about the meaning, what it was trying to tell. And although it's not like an easy book to understand, but it's something you start doing it, you start following it, and then you try to find become an ideal Muslim.
And it contains everything you need to know about life, and it has a guideline, and it has everything to aid you, to guide you in life. It has all the steps and everything.
Okay, so with recent events, does the Quran justify killing? And if it doesn't, what does it say about killing?
So many verses in the Quran, there are verses that talk about violence, but I think that most of them are misinterpreted because they only read one part of the verse and leave the other whole verse alone. So I think we should look at the whole thing, because some a verse I know right after it talks about why it was revealed, and right after it talks about peace and when is violence justified. So I don't think a verse should be read alone, but by its whole entirely.
That's exactly why the Quran is divided into 30 chapters, explaining each. You can't just take one verse, one sentence, and interpret it into the way you want it. That's kind of forming it. And that's how people interpret Islam. You think that it's just based on that one sentence, one sentence in the Quran just defines what they do and what they're capable of.
So it doesn't justify, correct? No.
No.
Okay. Could you explain to me what is the jihad?
Well, jihad is a battle, although many people misinterpret it as a battle against someone else, truly it's a battle inside oneself. I think you want to explain?
Yeah, I think that's the main misconception, because there's 3 types of jihad. One is fight against oneself, one is fight against an oppressive leader, and one is actual fighting. So the one that's valued the most is the fight against oneself, and most people don't know that because all they believe is that jihad is only one thing, and it's fighting for your belief or something, but it's really not.
Well, yeah, it is fighting for your belief, but it's mainly about how you're fighting inside yourself in order to you're trying to keep your iman or your religion inside your heart while dealing with the outside influences. Every day for Muslims, we're going, for example, me and Hamad are going to school, we're on the jihad ourselves, trying to maintain our religion, maintain our beliefs while incorporating other influences to our minds.
And that's the type of jihad that's valued the most in Islam.
So jihad is valued the most?
Yeah, but the fight against oneself part, that's holds the most high standard.
Oh, okay. So would you say it's being used wrongly by with recent events in ISIS? You would say it's being used wrongly.
feel like ISIS is just using Islam as an excuse and jihad as an excuse in order to cover it up, in order to get justified reasoning. As you asked before, like, is it in the Quran, does it say anywhere where killing is justified? It's not, but based on our beliefs and what we know. And they're just using that as an excuse. They're trying to find, like, a cover to make them feel like they're doing something right instead of wrong.
And I would just like to mention that ISIS does not represent Islam, and like no religion I think promotes violence, and I think it's just like based off their own radical beliefs.
So, due to the recent attacks in Paris by ISIS, would you say you've been treated any differently? As in racial profiling, anything that's been said to you?
I mean, like after ever since 9/11, like that's been a part of life. We've been called like slurs, racially profiled, but I think like it's like an ongoing thing. And Paris just not only like it hasn't like made a big impact, but it has like it's kind of like made it more strict, and like it's like becoming like a more what's it called, like popular something.
Well, it depends how you interpret. United States had to face with 9/11, and now like today's society, we see that like it is becoming more diverse, and it's not just the United States, also Europe. Like last year, I went to England. There are many Muslims there. We can't just say like all Muslims are, or like they're dangerous. They're potentially harm to the country because they already incorporate so much into our society, as well as like, for example, we can't blame one action based on a whole religion, and we can also see that these Muslims are not only hurting non-Muslims like the one in Paris. There have also been events. There's been last year we had one in Pakistan where some Afghani Muslims hurt. It kills about 200 kids in the school. There's events going on all over the world where Muslims are not just they're being misinterpreted as a danger not only to non-Muslims, but also they should be interpreted as dangerous to Muslims as well.
So the issue has basically been radicalized since 9/11?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you wish people would know or do to help you during this time?
I think like the main thing people should know is like they should educate themselves about like the main beliefs and like those verses that justify violence or which they think they do. They should like kind of read about it and like read the whole thing instead of like just that verse.
I feel like today like we're doing a good job trying to educate our young generation about like what's going on, what's the meaning of different religions. And I think the only thing, like the main thing that could help us is that if individuals understand what's the difference between a terrorist, a Muslim, or terrorist and a religion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.